the Spirit Sessions podcast. I'm your guide, Katie Silcox, bringing you your weekly self-love soundbite. Join us, where I'll help you find your true spiritual home, where every single aspect of you is holy ground, holy ground, holy ground, holy ground.
This is a Spirit Session podcast with Katie Silcox. Venga chicos, empezamos.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hi everyone, Katie here. This podcast is intended to inspire you, educate you, and most importantly, support you on your journey towards knowing who you really are, that inner self, that inner teacher. I am not a psychologist or a medical doctor and do not offer professional health or medical advice on this podcast. If you are suffering from any kind of psychological or medical issue, please do the right thing and seek help from your qualified health professional. Hi everyone, this is a podcast coming to you for the spring that was recorded actually on an Instagram Live with one of my students who has now gone on to write an amazing book on the goddess and create her own platform. Lisa Marie Rankin, check her out. We'll put a link to her in the show notes. This is a podcast we recorded on her end on spring, and we thought it was really sweet, and we asked her if we could put it on the pod, and she agreed. So without further ado, enjoy this podcast. And remember, if you have already done level 1 Ayurveda school, level 2 starts this April 9th. If you're a level 1 graduate, this is your chance. We begin again Ayurveda Tuesdays with level 2 coming up soon.
Hey, Katie.
Hey, lady.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for coming on today to talk to me about the spring and anything else too that is on your mind. So I appreciate that. How are you doing?
Yeah. Lisa, you know I'm always at your beck and call. Whenever you want me to talk, I am here. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. Well, all of the women in my community love you, so I think this is probably going to be a really special treat for everyone. I even see little hearts starting to flow up in Instagram land. So today I just wanted to talk, and I've had some women from wellness and spirituality on this week because we had the spring equinox on Sunday. And so a lot of the things that we do in the community is helping women reconnect to the rhythms of their body, but also the seasons as well, too. Because I always like to say, whatever is happening outside is happening within you as well. And I've probably learned from you is that, one reason we might feel so disconnected or feel anxious, or feel like the sense of physical, emotional dryness is because we're going against the grain. We're not really, we're going against what our body wants to do. We're going against what's going on outside, eating strawberries in the middle of the winter and just not aligning. So I think this is like a really good opportunity to say like, well, what is the energetics and the qualities of the spring? And what does it even mean to align to the spring?
Yeah, I mean, you do such a great job at sort of summarizing my entire life's work, Lisa. It's always just so cool to actually listen to you, and I just want to shut up and like be in your class. But the question, the framing is just so correct. Like whatever's happening on the outside is also being mirrored on the inside. And so what I love about the way that we practice what we call feminine form healthcare, really, but Ayurveda particularly, is that when you get women in a room and you give them space and silence and just a few little tools and techniques so they don't freak out, right? Like when you give some of us structure who tend to be a little bit more wild, and like we get a little bit of that space and structure, lo and behold, like really fast. I mean, like 90 seconds, they put their hand on their heart. We put our hand on our heart. We ask the question, what do we need? And the answer comes. And this isn't, I think so much of us are so hungry for someone to tell us what to do because it's so complicated and so complex. And like, I get that, right? But spring, when we really just take a moment to meditate on the energetics of spring, for many of us, right, unless you're in the Southern Hemisphere, things are cool. They're even cold sometimes, but also then they're hot. And so that differentiation, hot to cold, cold to hot, the schizophrenia of the weather at this time can make us feel hot and cold about our lives. It can make us feel hot and cold about our relationships. It can make us feel hot and cold about our jobs. It can make us feel super confused as to what should I eat? What should I do? Who am I? Right? And so if everyone out there is like in that dichotomy of it feels like two opposites are pushing on me at the same time, that is the energy of this moment. And in Ayurveda, we say that those transitions are just like a birth. And I think there's all this excitement about spring, and everyone talks about setting goals and future planning and like the baby being born and the new year really starts now if you're a witch. And like, yes, all that's true. But what often doesn't get talked about is that confusion aspect. That is the vata, right? And that's why some of us may be feeling anxious or bloated, right? And then you have the energy of the spring, which is mud, wet, right? I live in Virginia. We are literally a swamp, right? But guess what happened last night? I got in the car. There was an evacuation for many of parts of where I live because there was so much dryness that we had forest fires.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, we're okay. And, you know, blessings and prayers to the firemen and the people that lost their barns and homes. But for our purpose today, what happens, just everyone can kind of feel this in their mind and their body. What happens when you have a forest fire and mud? That's this season. So we've got Vata pushing Pitta, aka wind making inflammation, right? Dryness pushing inflammation, degeneration pushing inflammation, and then it getting like bogged down in this heaviness of the time and the water's attempting to be released out of your body. That is why cleansing is so valuable. Eating lighter is so valuable at this time because your body is naturally trying to push water through. And it's time when a lot of us will feel bloated, but also water retention, mucus. You wake up with more snot, more heaviness in your lungs, right? Not being able to release as much water. And so I'll pause. I'm sure you want me to ask what are the remedies, but maybe you want to add something, Lisa.
Yeah, I'm thrilled that you're here because it's interesting. I've been talking about spring as kind of this time of like reemergence and, you know, beginning again and new intentions, kind of what you were saying.
And it is.
But I love the hot and cold because as I've been doing this, I've been in like a winter jacket with, you know, I'm up here in Boston and it's below freezing this morning when I was walking the dog. So there is like this polarity where it's like the days are lighter and there is sun. So it's like, oh, I want to come out, but it's really cold. I don't really. So it's just really interesting. And I love the way that you phrased that because that wasn't necessarily a perspective I was taking. So that was so refreshing. Well, like, even though I was experiencing it.
I love what you said about like, I'm in Boston with my jacket on, getting excited about coming out of my hole. And like, I know you a little bit. Lisa is like bunny rabbit energy. Let's go, right? Let's do it. And some of us are more turtle energy. And we're like, it's not even spring yet. I'm going back to bed. And I think Lisa is a daffodil, right? So the daffodils are like, we're here. And then Mother Nature's like, great, we're going to do one more freeze on you guys, you know? So it's like, look at what nature's doing. You are the daffodil and I'm the daffodil and we're all the daffodil. We're like, can we come out? And then we get blasted with a frost. And so the energy really asks us wisdom around the patience of the launch. Right? Like, is it the right time to launch? Is it the right time to start a new relationship, start a new business? Like, there's no right answer to that. But I think it is kind of cool to see that excitement get blasted by cold again. And to just kind of work with that in the body is an interesting thing, you know, but obviously this is the time for thinking about what I'm building. What am I building over the next 6 to 18 months? On every level, scaffolding first to the 7th chakra. Like, what am I building in? And what do I need to plan for right now to create the scaffolding in my life to make that architecture hold? The other thing, it is the oppositional time. So on one hand, we're building. Guess what? On the other hand, we're taking away. Spring cleaning. putting clean food and cleansing our bodies. So on one hand, it is a drastic letting go. On the other hand, it's a building. And I think that central portal of power is to have the discernment, is the word in Sanskrit, they would say adhikara, to be able to know what I need to clean out and let go of and what I need to bring in and build.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. That reminds me of something else too, that I work with a lot of the women, and I think it's something that you've said I learned from you, is that we always kind of hold these paradoxes. I know you love this mudra. One, we are perfect like the way we already are, and yet we're always evolving and we're always becoming, and kind of approaching all of this not as like, I need to fix myself, but like a tulip, how am I going to evolve next? Like, what is this next iteration of me, but without like that graspiness?
Yeah, that's it.
I would love to hear too, any of your favorite spring rituals. I know that you've mentioned a few of them to kind of, with this push-pull, hot, cold, vata energy.
Totally. You know, the more I age, the more I'm like less sanctimonious about it all, and yet so freaking disciplined and like on it, you know? And so like, that again, that mudra of like the paradox, like,
yeah,
I think one of the most, you know, you are a brilliant, valuable teacher. They can check out the Shakti School where I live, and there's so much free resources over there as well of like, really, what do I do? What do I eat? And we're super non-dogmatic about all of it, right? Especially when it comes to like the individuality of food is such a important, you know, nuanced decision-making process, and also like really simple. Just eat what's around and like what you can digest. But on a more subtle level, the ritual for me over the past few weeks, and I'll get teared up because I'm just so lucky. I've got such great friends and mentors in my life, and then the Shakti School, which is full of all these women like you that like, you guys, like if it weren't for that place, like I don't know where I would be or who I would be. Like it's like the ritual of having something that you can come to, like AA or Shakti School or your platform, you know, like we've got this ritual that even though I'm the lead teacher, keeps me in the remembrance of the purpose of my life. And so the biggest important ritual to launch everyone out there listening or who listen to this later, like is what you want your life to be about, and to use the word dedication. Like, what are you dedicated to? And just having a mentor, guide, an Instagram lady right now reminding you of that. And then you go, oh yeah. And then you remember what you're dedicated to. And then from that place, setting a discipline around it, setting a goal, right? And so for me, I'll just share this really quickly, if you don't mind, just this personal anecdote where, you know, I've been a meditator. I'm 43. I've been doing this since I was 19. So like over 2 decades, and like hardcore. Like, I don't think I've ever missed a day of meditation, even when I had COVID. It's like, that's the cornerstone of my life. Like it takes a lot for me to miss a practice. And then I started to heal my heart, and I started to become more honestly like in my divine feminine more and more. And like that rigidity around the practice, the needing the practice because it was the Band-Aid that would help me not feel how miserable I felt, that was leaving, that was going away. And I didn't need my rituals. I didn't need my self-care. I didn't need my Ayurveda or my meditation. I didn't need it anymore. And also, side note, Lisa, like I knew that the point of my life is not to become more powerful or more beautiful or more successful or any of these great and worthy goals. Like that wasn't the point for me of my life anymore. And so suddenly I didn't need the practice. So I got really fat and lazy with it. Right. And that,
I love that.
Oh, girl, that was so healing for me. Yeah. It was radical medicine to be like, I didn't even do my meditation today. Like, the sky is not going to fall and the floor is not going to
still here. Out. Yeah.
I'm still here and I'm still loved and I'm still good and I'm still on it. Right. So that medicine was so powerful. But then, and this is the energetic of this time, if I get too fat cat, lazy goddess lounge about eating, gummy bears and like, watching Love Island. If I get too far in that direction, I've lost.
Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah.
So, it's still happening, right? But like that balance of re-remembering and reorienting, well, why am I doing my practice now that I don't need it to survive?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the question. So why am I? This is personal. Everyone gets to decide their purpose and their discipline and their dedication. It was, I'm doing it because I'm dedicated to learning how to burn my ego in the most loving way in the fire of my awakening. My teacher says, if there's an ego, there's no enlightenment, right? It's not to say the ego is burned or dies. It's to say, to know that higher mind requires a full-on discipline of being willing to see the smaller mind for what it is. So just say, everyone out there can create a simple spring grew up Southern Baptist, is like, recommit your life to Jesus. It's like, that's the time. It's Easter. Recommit your life to whatever you are committed to that's bigger than just, I want that new handbag. I want my husband to give me better orgasms. I want money. I want fame. I want people to like me. Like all these worthy goals. Like, what is the goal that's bigger than that? And then here's the masculine. Put a boundary on it. It's way easier to sit for your morning ritual, whether it's dry brushing or deep meditation. Put a timing on it. For me, I put 30 minutes on my meditation. Radical. And it's so much easier to meditate for 30 minutes than to sit down and meditate and just say, we'll see, right? Yeah. I could go on and on, Lisa, but that's where I am with my spring and just like really happy and excited about it.
I love it. Thank you so much. And I just love that prompt. Like, what are you dedicated to? Because I don't think that sometimes we are focused, like you said, on what it is that we want or we want to give up. Like, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to make more money. I want a sexier partner. I want a bigger house. Or it's just, I'll get this, give up this. Totally. And it's really like, well, what is it that I want to dedicate myself to is the bigger question. Or like, how do I want to show up in the world? Like, what do I want this experience to be like?
And that's the birthing. That's the creative energy on a subtle level. On a subtle level, it's about, guys, if you've gone to sleep, wake up. It's about spiritual birth. It's about spiritual creation, spiritual creativity. How many babies are we going to have? They're great, but we've had them and we'll have them over lifetimes again and again. Like, that's beautiful. That's a path. That's a tantric path, right? And I love, for many of the listeners, it might be my dedication right now is my children. I think I highlight that because I don't think that people who don't have kids realize what an awesome dedication that is. What an absolute sacrifice often of the ego that is. Yeah.
My kids remind me of that every day. Yeah.
I have a puppy and I'm getting my butt kicked. I cannot even imagine a real human.
I don't know. I have a dog too. And like the dogs really do like have
a lot.
I mean, and they're so unconditional though, because they just love you. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure my kids love me too, but I don't know. My dog really.
It's different. It might be a higher level.
Yeah, I think so. It's a more pure, unadulterated love. Yeah.
Could be.
No. But yeah. Well, thank you so much, Katie. What do you have going on? I know Shakti 2 is probably starting pretty soon, right?
Shakti 2 is starting. Yes. We're a 2-year program, but like we're in like kind of a lull right now and it's awesome. It's like,
I can imagine.
We're not marketing a lot of stuff. We're only doing level 2, but that's for people that have already done level 1. But yeah, if anyone out there doesn't know us, we are the Shakti School and happy to have you guys check us out later on down the road when we begin again in January.
No, and I always tell everyone, it is just like such an amazing curriculum. Like I'm astounded and so grateful that you designed it. You just have such beautiful teachers and beautiful curriculum. And I always tell everyone, I remember getting an email. It was like feminine form, Ayurveda, Tantra, and these are the things. I'm like, there's a whole school that has this stuff. And I think I signed up pretty immediately without knowing what I got into. And here I am. So,
I love it. I love that I'm seeing in the comments there are women here in level 2. That is so cool. They're here with us. You guys,
Yay!
I miss you all. We're starting, in a couple weeks.
I know. And it's just such a beautiful container and beautiful community of women, because it really does take like a certain type of women that really want to, dive deep into this stuff and consider their experience and their interaction with the world at large. Beautiful job magnetizing such an amazing group of women. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to connecting with you soon.
Likewise. Thanks, guys. Have a great spring.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
A big special thanks to Kevin Carlisle of Goodbye Gemini, who wrote this beautiful podcast music, and to DJ Juan Pablo Jimenez in southern Spain for mixing it and making it magic.